I am Precious Mzea Sakaleji. Welcome to Camnet TV Main News, the headlines. 28-year-old mother of triplets agonizing on how to raise them. CSO-DEBT Alliance advises government to begin collecting mining taxes in KWACHA. UPND defend
golf course, 24-hour security and more. They are on title and you can view them. With a standard 20% initial deposit, you will already be on your way to owning land Kumayard. We have 40 by 25 meters going for 240,000 and our 50 by 42 going for 300,000. Both have flexible payment plans. They are located 28 kilometers from Crossroads Mall and 16 kilometers from New Kasama's Boom Gate along Leopards Hill Road. For viewings, purchases and inquiries, call the numbers on the screen.
And now the main news in detail. A 28-year-old mother of 4 in Lusaka's Kanyama Ward 13 is at pain in raising her 1-year, 2-month-old triplets and 7-year-old son as her and her 30-year-old husband are living in dire poverty. In an interview with Camnet News, the TRI Caroline Hakatanga says her and her husband relocated to Lusaka 2 weeks ago from Mazabuka in hopes of a better life and are currently surviving on piece works. She has therefore appealed to well-wishers to help her with capital to start a business, adding that her 7-year-old son has stopped going to school as there is no one to take care of the triplets when she and her husband go out to look for piece works to feed the family.
6 people live squeezed up in this one-roomed house in Lusaka's Kanyama Ward 13, which has been demarcated into a bedroom and kitchen with only the help of a curtain. This is the home of Caroline Hakatanga, 28, who lives here with her 30-year-old husband, 7-year-old son, and 1-year, 2-month-old triplets. The mother of 4, however, narrates that they are living in dire poverty, eating whatever they can find, as both she and her husband only depend on piecework for survival. The mother narrates that the young family recently relocated to Zambia's capital city 2 weeks ago in hopes of a better life, but says nothing has improved. She adds that having triplets has made their life harder, as food is hard to come by.
So tunabwera kuno nchito watati wake vali bopeza bwino bachitati bakambira pali piecework baenda kuti kwanise kusunga bana so bana batovuta nchakudya nabo bala na so okona kuli mwanguluka byoka mwamba ula soga mwamba wali onsa mina ngatanizi pesi nipeleke kusaka chomfola ko tandizwa bwanju kuiwa ne batamba tandizo nifuna tandizo ili yonse kuli bana babe banga kwanise bali bonse tandizako.
Meanwhile, a concerned citizen within the same area, Taisa Chihuwe, says there is urgent need for well-wishers to come to the aid of the family as the woman's 7-year-old son has stopped school in grade 1, stating that he takes care of the triplets while their parents go around communities looking for piecework.
Mwana alega kuskulu. Saenda uskulu chukua chaba mpunda wanzake. So uskulu saenda ankala affected sasa punzira chukua chababa. So kuti mwapezeka maosha zamina ngatandizira mai bake. Bangangene solo kanchito kama tandizira kupapa mwana. Uchita kuti mwana apezela aende kuskulu. Pali manje uskulu saenda ankala ko chapi so chapi. Chukua atandiza kupapira bana ba mavuto aya. Akaenda kwa piecework mwamina atandizira kucha bwani.
The mother's only hope now is in well-wishers, as she says she is ready to start any business once capital is available. Zipporah Mshala, Camnet News, Lusaka.
United Party for National Development UPND Deputy Secretary General Gertrude Menda says it is illogical for stakeholders to expect the First Lady to make official statements on national issues, stating that she has no political position. In an interview, Ms. Imenda has therefore described as misplaced statement by former Ambassador to Denmark, Edith Mtale, condemning the First Lady MUTINTA HICHILEMA and Republican Vice President Mutarina Lumango for not commenting on the self-rescue of Pamela Chisumba, a mobile money booth attendant, and 12 other ladies. Meanwhile, Ms. Imenda has charged that the Zambia police to ensure that the case of Pamela Chisumba and other abductees is thoroughly investigated and maximum punishment instituted by the courts of law. A mobile money booth attendant, Pamela Chisumba, who had been missing for 6 months, was safely rescued in the company of 12 other females in Lusaka's Chalala area.
And really the police and the law enforcement agencies and the legal process itself should take this matter very seriously. And we just want to condemn in the very strongest terms. Let the police go to the bottom of this whole exercise. And the whole legal process should take its course in a manner that will send a signal to even the others who are contemplating on using that kind of exercise to try and get money for their own personal selfish ends. I watched one Reverend Edith Mutali trying to drag the First Lady into this whole exercise by condemning her that, you know, she should have raised her voice and things like that. Please, by Edith and anybody else who is interested in that matter, the First Lady is not a politician. Let's not drag her name into these politics. Let's not bring people who cannot defend themselves, like the way Edith has done. You want the First Lady to come and defend herself. She's not a politician. Don't drag her into these politics. She cannot defend herself. Let's leave her out of it. I think it was very unfair. And by Edith, I thought you are a reverend. Please, keep the First Lady out of this. There was no need for that. It was uncalled for and it should be condemned in the strongest terms. If I were you, if you are really the reverend worth your salt, I would apologize to the First Lady.
The CSO-DEBT Alliance has appealed to the Zambian government to consider reverting back to receiving taxes from the mining sector in KWACHA currency as opposed to the United States dollar. Speaking at the CSO-SUN 2023 National Budget Analysis Forum in Lusaka Thursday, CSO-DEBT Alliance coordinator Wakumelo Mata says if the country continues receiving taxes in dollars amidst a strong exchange rate, this will negate the benefit of strengthening the local currency. Meanwhile, Minister of Finance and National Planning, Permanent Secretary, Development Cooperation, Monitoring and Evaluation, Dennis Chisenga, says there is need for the private sector to help government in the implementation of the 2023 national budget.
Many stakeholders have continued to add their voices to the 167.3 million KWACHA 2023 national budget, which was presented to Parliament on 30th of September 2022 by the Finance Minister Dr. Situmbe Komsokotwani. The CSO-DEBT Alliance has also added their voice to the 2023 national budget at a meeting held in Lusaka Thursday. Oxfam Country Director Yvonne Chibuya says government should carry the private sector along in the implementation of many government projects and the 2023 national budget.
We would also like to urge government to speed up the negotiations of debt restructuring with the creditors. And likewise, it is our hope that we urge as Zambia's creditors to give the Zambian government a listening ear on the debt restructuring process. Just to assure you, PS, that as stakeholders, we are more than willing to work with government in all these processes.
Meanwhile, CSO-DEBT Alliance coordinator Wakumelo Mata, who made a reflection on the IMF program and its impact on the budget, appealed to the Zambian government to consider reverting back to receiving taxes from the mining sector in KWACHA currency as opposed to the United States dollar.
So our position is that the benefits that we would get from a stronger KWACHA would outweigh the revenue losses we would get if we received our taxes from the mining sector in KWACHA terms as opposed to dollar terms. So we do have a recommendation later in the document that if it's possible we should consider getting back to receiving these taxes in KWACHA terms, so that the focus over the medium term is to strengthen the KWACHA, because the benefits of doing so will far outweigh the costs in the medium term.
And CSO SAN chairperson Father Alex Muyebe also added his voice.
So the Alliance undertook to analyze both the International Monetary Fund report on Zambia and the proposed 2023 national budget. We are pleased to share our reflections on these two important policy documents today.
Meanwhile, Minister of Finance and National Planning, Permanent Secretary, Development Cooperation, Monitoring and Evaluation, Denise Chisenda, says government wants the private sector to help in the implementation of its developmental agendas.
The administration has put forward, and to implement it, we can't use old ideas or old minds to create the necessary change we need, which is going to impact this country. Because change of mindset is a key issue we have to deal with at individual level.
Prudence Chota reporting for Camnet TV News.
In other news, 8 families of Airport Villa in Silverest area at risk of being closed out of their own homes after alleged Patriotic Front cadres began constructing houses in front of their gates in August 2022. In an interview, the affected residents have produced title deeds claiming that the said cadres have been challenging them, that they also acquired titles for the same during the previous administration. In a related incident, over 10 residents of Lusaka's Obama compound are in a similar predicament as their land was allegedly grabbed by PF cadres who also got title deeds for the same land.
Land encroachment by political party cadres has remained a concern in Zambia for a long time, as the country has seen an increase in the number of reports. This is Airport Villa in Silverest area of Chonga district, where 8 households say they feel helpless due to alleged Patriotic Front PF cadres who were given title deeds for land located right in front of their gates, meaning that they will be unable to leave their gates should the construction continue. One affected resident, Barbara Jaulani, has called for urgent action from Chonga Municipal Council and the Ministry of Lands and Natural Resources, stating that the cadres also claim to have title deeds for the land located in front of the people's gates.
So far, we've been to numerous offices. Nothing has happened. I think it's time we appealed to the president. Maybe it takes him to look into such matters if his officers are unable to intervene in such little things. How a council can allow such lawlessness is beyond residents of Silverest.
Meanwhile, in a phone interview, Chongwa Town Clerk Damson Mukwato says the said cadres do not have papers, stating that he will ensure that the construction is put to an end. In a related development, over 10 families of Lusaka's Obama area have lost their land to alleged PF cadres who allegedly got title deeds for their land within a space of 3 months, while the said residents have been waiting for the same title deeds for years.
Awo mwandini makafe ya balesa tatuli fuli pafinda fyachitika gifting andwe atuchusha na kubantu aba ashitisha abalile mpia bena shula bashula musoja alafona nempia kuboma batale chusha nemukamfuirwa ninawale nchusha pamwe na bana bashiwa pamwe na familia yadi
so nifuna mutumenyere nkondo chioneke zoona chamene tunali kuvotera chamene tunali kuvutikira uti zoona sembe tinapaiwa kulipe kuja time tukati tuti eba bwera ba PF na bachimwansa bamene abo
lero ine obushikubumo bashireto bafe offense nokubika chigeti ati ni plot yabo bandetera na title deed so ine yo title valetere nali ikene nati title okuti maifumya shani bale fo abalete surveyor wakuti abike ama beacons efe nakene nati nga title pakufuma kuti yafuma shani ukwabula ama beacons lero imwelo mrefu yakuti muingire mu fence umu mubike ama beacons nshasumile
wana mataito didio abapele tatwa muishibanga nuko babapele kulanzi bakalondolole nomba ifwe tukashitashani chako bati lonse ve fi paper la ero ya mataito didi yalanga fielandi yonse ve taito imo.
Meanwhile, United Party for National Development UPND National Deputy Youth Chairperson Trevor Mwinde says there is need for a clean-up at local authorities and the Ministry of Lands and Natural Resources so that ordinary Zambians do not suffer.
The foundation that which we are seeing here is a foundation that which is meant to build a wall fence in front of somebody's gate. I think ever since I was born to date, I've never seen such levels of impunity where you want to hold somebody and his family hostage. These levels of hostility, I don't think that under the new dawn, and I don't think that the 2.8 million voters, this is what they were voting for. So we want to call upon the Minister of Lands, we want to call upon the provincial planners, we want to call upon even the focal point person in the council who looks at the local development plan for Chongwe district and for Lusaka to make sure that this matter is dealt with completely. The final appeal we are making is the Zambia police. Zambia police, you have heard how much and how many times these cadres want to disown and disregard the presidential declaration against cadarism and political violence. These women are being victimized. Time and again they are being threatened by boys that are toothless, boys that do not have even authority.
We will continue to follow the stories of land encroachment to see how matters unfold. Zipporah Mshala, Camnet News, Lusaka.
Timber Producers Association of Zambia President Charles Masange has challenged the government to allow trade in Mukula following the commencement of the issuance of timber licenses. Last month, the government approved 190 timber concession licenses out of 483 applications, but only in the small and medium-scale categories. And Mr. Musange says the government should allow Zambians to equally start trading in Mukula to derive maximum benefits. He says the Mukula is in abundance in several parts of the country, hence the need to facilitate the empowerment of locals.
One, we expected that as the New Dawn government started issuing licenses, there will be also an indication that Mukula will be one of the species which will be opened by the New Dawn government to start being harvested by Zambians. Because, of course, we would like the minister to come to the press, people phone him, to convince the Zambians why Mukula cannot be traded by Zambia. It happened in the previous government that Mukula trade was banned, but about 1,293 containers left the country under the previous government. That Mukula went by the National Service and by Zafiko. We don't expect this to happen as they open licenses. And what we expect the minister to realize is that provinces, 6 of them, Northern Province, Muchinga Province, Central Province, Eastern Province, Luapula Province, and part of the Copper Belt Province. The dominance of the species in those populations is Mukula. Now, if the government of the New Dawn also say there's no Mukula trade, who be trading? It's not real Mukula. Those people should realize that they are our employees. We have just put them in those offices. So if we tell them we want to harvest this, it's our resource. Of course, if you go, they can't challenge me to say, no, Mukula is an endangered species. We know, we have the knowledge, we have been to CITES in Ichilanga. They have told us Mukula is not in the first category.
Worldwide Fund for Nature WWF Country Director Nachilala Nkombo has charged that the climate change effects have negatively impacted the country's productivity. Ms. Nkombo notes that though there are a number of pilot projects to support adaptation being implemented by the government, these projects are not have not been scaled up to make a huge difference. Speaking in an interview in Lusaka, WWF Country Director stressed the need for adoption in agricultural producing communities through the implementation of this year's budget for such communities to learn from agricultural related projects of best practices so as to widen the area of beneficiaries in adoption knowledge and technology. Ms. Nkombo says Zambia cannot continue on the trajectory of having the same amount of the agriculture support given to farmers under the drought-stricken areas with farmers that are in farming blocks that receive sufficient rains.
We believe that the actual allocation could have been higher, considering the fact that as the new government has recognized the important role of the environment in driving the economy. I think a lot of money goes into a number of environmental activities. It's not just the issues around protecting environmental resources, but expenditures that need to go towards law enforcement, reducing illegal activities. We have quite a lot of illegal activities across the country, from encroachments and water sources to massive deforestation, massive charcoal burning. However, we also note that there's some innovation that this budget has introduced, particularly in trying to create timber-related exchanges, based on the pilot that will be in Siomangwezi. Our concern as WWF is that in trying to deal with the challenges of the forest sector, or the challenges, even the opportunities in the forest economy, I think the value of the forest resources needed to be looked at holistically, and all the opportunities that are actually there to support local communities with their livelihoods and maybe even small business.
Stakeholders in the water, sanitation and hygiene sector have expressed divergent views on the water sector 2023 national budget allocation. The government has proposed to spend 2,269,481,977 kwacha, although sector players and Millennium Challenge account over 1 million has been allocated. Water Aid Zambia Country Director Pamela Chisanga has implored the government to ensure the accurate and timely release of funds if the country is to make tremendous progress in addressing water and sanitation issues. And Consumer Unity and Trust Society CATS Center Director Dr. Claudia Pollen calls for more political will in terms of prioritization of the water sector. Meanwhile, National Water Supply and Sanitation Council Chief Inspector Peter Mtale tells Camnet News that alternative financing besides the budget will play a key role in accelerating water and sanitation provision. Cited the Zambia Water Investment Program that was launched by President Hakainde Hichilema, among others.
On Friday, 30th September 2022, Zambia's Finance Minister Stumbe Komsokotwane unveiled the 167.3 billion kwacha 2023 national budget, which other sectors have toasted to as being progressive and impressive. On the water sector, the Zambian government has proposed to spend 2,269,481,977 kwacha. Although sector players usually feel 10% of the national budget would be something to be excited about. We spoke to Water Aid Zambia Country Director Pamela Chisanga, who explained that in the past, disbursement of resources is what has been poor, although based on their analysis, she noticed improvements, especially in the 2022 national budget. She says what will make a difference will be the actual releases of funds allocated towards the water and sanitation in the 2023 budget.
We have seen in terms of the increase in terms of the budget itself, the figure is slightly lower than the previous year. But I think that has to be put in a little bit of context as well. In terms of the overall share of the budget, we still have about 1.4% of the overall share of the budget, just like last year. The biggest difference for us will be in the execution of the budget. In the previous years, we have seen an increment in the allocation to the water, sanitation, and hygiene sector budget. But when it came to releases, these were really far below what we had even seen in previous years.
And Consumer Unity Trust Society Cards Center Director Dr. Claudia Paulin believes given that water is life and cutters across sectors, there is a need for more political will in terms of prioritization.
It matters only, this is not just at the top level. We're talking about political will everywhere. We need ambassadors, we need different people showing a little bit more interest, because we know that water is indeed the backbone of our livelihood. So we cannot do without it. And so just the fact that we're not having these conversations about re-energizing or changing the way the water strategy of financing and access and utilization is being undertaken.
Meanwhile, National Water Supply and Sanitation Council, MWASCO Chief Inspector Peter Mutale, tells Camnet News that while the budget allocation may be seen to have reduced in kwacha terms, in dollar terms, it has actually increased. And Mr. Mutale was quick to state that the budget alone cannot state the actual financing towards the sector, but that there are other funding modalities that have been put in place, adding that the sector also receives goodwill from cooperating partners.
We will not just be looking at traditional methods of financing, but we look at other methods of financing, like private sector participation, the PPPs, issues of coming up with bankable projects, issues of coming up with the aspect of securitization. All these aspects are to do with PPPs and also ensuring that private sector participate in the raising of funds. So this Zambia Water Investment Program is a very good program which we need to work hard to make sure that we raise the funds that are in this program. We have the support from His Excellency. So I think we cannot fail to raise that money. So we're not just looking at the budget, but also looking at this investment plan, because that money is not in the budget.
Patrick Soko, Camnet News.
The myths surrounding the COVID-19 vaccination are still high, as some pupils, part of the eligible population to take the COVID-19 vaccine, are still shunning to vaccination. Speaking to Camnet TV, Luyando Mchindu, who took the COVID-19 jab Thursday at school, says the process is painless, encouraging others to take a leap and get the vaccination. Luyando Mchindu says the officers came at their school, making it easy for her to take the jab without any struggles of looking for a center offering the service.
Some pupils in Lusaka are responding positively to the second round of the COVID-19 vaccination program. The second round of the COVID-19 vaccination campaign took off Monday this week, with the official launch in Lusaka being Wednesday. The program is aimed at reaching out to people in the closest and easiest way possible. Thursday, a check at Kabloga Girls Secondary School revealed that some pupils have taken the COVID-19 vaccination. When asked why they waited for this round to take the vaccination, the grade 12 pupils cited fear resulting from myths surrounding the vaccination process.
Taking the jab today, as you can see. Yeah. So what was keeping me from getting the jab is because of the rumors. People were like, no, it has a lot of side effects. You die if you take the jab, something like that. And I really think people should get the jab because it will really help you in a lot of ways. So I think there's gonna be a time in the future whereby you can only travel if you have the card.
I'm in grade 10. I took the vaccine today. The officers came to our school, then I took it. I'm not feeling any pain or anything, no side effect yet, but maybe tomorrow I may start feeling good.
They say when you take, you die.
Yes. Have you seen anyone who has died out of taking it?
No.
But UNICEF and World Health Organization, partners in this process, assured the public during the launch of this vaccination in Lusaka that the side effects are minimal compared to the risk of not taking the jabs. Meanwhile, Ministry of Health says the campaign is aimed at reaching out to at least 70% of the eligible population if the decision by government through the Ministry of Health to lift the mandatory wearing of face masks in public places emanating from the improved statistics of COVID-19 cases is to be upheld. Sharon Kalimbola, Camnet News, Lusaka.
You're watching Camnet TV Main News. We take our first set of commercials. We'll be back with more after this.
Your skin is the biggest muscle in your body. That's why we make sure that Oracle is #1 when it comes to taking care of your precious skin. Oracle Pure Petroleum Jelly and Glycerin soothes, moisturizes and keeps your skin perfect. Oracle Pure Petroleum products for that perfect skin.
From time immemorial, we have had different types of lighting options, from those that can burn down our investments in minutes to those that dig holes in our pockets due to constant replacement and huge consumption of our ZESCO units. Savenda Electric introduces the new and advanced electric bulb with cutting-edge technology of LED that has low power consumption, gives out bright white light, and lasts up to 25,000 hours. Savenda Electric manufactures all types of LED light, like plastic LED fluorescent tubes, down lights, ceiling lights, outdoor fittings, and solar street lights made to customer specifications. Let's live on the bright side of life by choosing the wide range of Savenda electric lighting solutions that are available in all leading stores and supermarkets countrywide. For orders, call 0962-642-490 or email jnbunda@savenda.com or pchabula@savenda.com.
For immediate coverage of any breaking or latest news in Zambia and around the world on Camnet Television, call the numbers on your screen. Camnet Television, bringing to your screens fair news, impartial news, credible and reliable news all the time. Get the whole truth on Camnet World News. Camnet Television, not just another channel.
Welcome back. We'll continue with the rest of the main news. The alleged theft case involving 31-year-old opposition Patriotic Front Kada received an early adjournment Thursday morning after the state informed the court that the witness who was supposed to testify this morning traveled to Sesheke district. In this case, this is in a case in which Angel Chipansha, a businessman who sells Salaula, is accused of breaking into the house of former Republican President Edgar Lungu and stealing 2 television sets worth 66,000 kwacha.
Thursday morning, journalists, just like a swarm of bees, surrounded a man accused of stealing 2 television sets from the house of the former Republican President Edgar Lungu in August this year, just for them to have his picture on camera. 30-year-old Angel Pasha was caught on a CCTV camera allegedly committing the offense and has been slapped with 1 count of burglary and theft contrary to Section 301A and 272 of the Penal Code, an allegation which he has denied before court.
I will never win accused person over under enjoy Pasha. Do a doom of and that the bad in this fish and pack like 28 days.
This morning, the accused appeared before Lusaka Magistrate Crispin Hampungani to commence his trial. However, the non-availability of state witnesses sent the court to make an early adjournment in the case. State Prosecutor Aaron Tunduluka informed the court that the first state witness who was supposed to testify in this matter traveled to Sesheke district and will be back next week, thus requesting the court to adjourn the matter to the 10th of November 2022. Chipasha is alleged to have, on the night of the 19th of August 2022, broke and entered into the house of the former head of state and stole 2 Samsung television sets valued at 66,000 kwacha, the property of Chavula, the person believed to be the alleged owner of the house that the former head of state is renting in. According to a statement recently issued by the Zambia police, Chipasha, who is believed to be an opposition patriotic front cadre, was linked to the theft on the 13th of August 2022 following an investigation that was launched. The investigations revealed that he shifted to a new place after stealing the 2 TV sets. Further information was that he used to frequent the residence of the former head of state. After his arrest, the police said they managed to recover one of the stolen TV sets, and upon interrogation he alleged that a colleague of his, Emmanuel Walia, commonly known as Emma, also a PF cadre, had the other TV set and was already on the copper belt where he sold it to an unknown person. Miriam Kaimba, reporting for Camnet TV News.
The Lusaka High Court has ordered Meraki Cake Bar and Cafe Limited to pay an amount of over 328,700 kwacha to former National Restoration Party President Elias Chipimo, being the outstanding principal amount and interest due to him under a loan agreement. This is in a case in which the former opposition political party leader sued the defendant seeking payment for the said amount which he had given as a loan.
The Lusaka High Court has delivered judgment in favor of former National Restoration Party President Elias Chipimo in a matter where he had sued Meraki Cake Bar and Cafe Limited seeking payment of more than 328,700 kwacha, being the outstanding principal amount and interest due to him under a loan agreement. In a statement of claim filed before court, Mr. Chipimo stated that he entered into a loan agreement with the defendant on the 3rd of November 2021 where he provided a loan of 50,000 kwacha. The money was to assist Meraki Cake Bar and Cafe Limited in the purchase of raw materials to fulfill its outstanding orders to supply ShopRite supermarket stores in Zambia. And on July 28, 2022, he entered into a debt settlement agreement with the defendant, under which it was agreed that the defendant would pay the plaintiff the sum of 150,000 kwacha in 2 installments on or before 15th August 2022 and the 31st of August 2022 respectively. According to a statement of claim, Mr. Chipimo said he suffered great loss and damages due to the failure by Meraki Cake Bar and Cafe Limited to neglect to pay the said amount. Arising from that, Lusaka High Court Judge Katenekwa has ordered the restaurant to pay him the said money plus damages for loss of business to him. The court has also awarded Mr. Chipimo damages for breach of the loan agreement. Miriam Kaimba, reporting for Camnet TV News.
A local indigenous avocado farmer, Sidney Fisher, has called for the preserve of local avocado species, which he says are at risk of being extinct. Mr. Fisher says Zambia has about 40 different species of local avocados and that 5 species have already been extinct. He says inasmuch as Zambia is looking to grow avocado that can be exported to other countries, there is need to ensure that the local market is covered by growing more local. Meanwhile, Dais Consulting and Training Group founder Marcus Dais says growing avocado have environmental benefits that positively contribute to the ozone layer.
Zambia has been blessed with indigenous avocado species that risk being extinct due to the demand for avocados with a longer lifespan that can be exported to other countries. While the country looks to becoming an export-dependent country by the year 2030, there is need to ensure that the local market does not suffer deficit by ensuring that local species are preserved. A local farmer and founder of Mazad Agriculture Tech, Sydney Maseko Fisher, has told Camnet News that he is working at preserving all local avocado species at his farm in Lusaka's 6 Mile area.
We have another avocado here like Konda, we have Zulu, we have Bueno. These are all Babu, Uhuru, Wonse, Kazembe. We went to the northern province one time to see the waterfalls. Unfortunately enough, we met some avocados there, so we took them, very nice, and we decided to give them the name Kazembe.
While many may question whether the local avocados have market in Zambia, Mr. Fisher says the country is currently importing avocados from Malawi because the current local avocado farmers are failing to meet the local market.
When it comes to market, I mean, one issue when somebody goes to buy avocado, if you put avocados on the table or awanamai wale shisha on the road, you would prefer to buy a big one, even if it's 8 kwacha and the small one is 5 kwacha. Why? Because the big one, it's a normal thing in Zambia, because Zambia has got a lot of beautiful big avocados. So our main aim is to preserve our indigenous thick Zambian avocados.
One benefit that however comes with the growing of avocado plants is that they contribute to ending deforestation, improve the water table, as well as improve the ozone layer. Mr. Fisher says he uses the same land he has planted avocados to do other agriculture activities such as the growing of vegetables as well as fruits.
Avocados, for us to have a good pollination, we are also using bees. So at the bottom of this we have a beehive here. This is a beehive. It gives us honey, and this honey here, it's avocado honey. Very tasty, very nice. While we are waiting for our avocados to give us fruit, in the meantime we have a drip line, which water comes from the tank. We are using solar panels, and the solar panels is pumping the water to the tank, and from the tank we are planting some cash crop.
Meanwhile, Dais Consulting and Training Group founder Marcus Dais says the project is also trying to engage other farmers in the preserving of local avocado species, which he says are very profitable on the local market.
Zambia's potential in promoting and actually preserving the exotic Zambian avocados, it should be an obligation for everyone because species are dying every day, and I think this is a great potential. If you look at other countries, they've already identified, like Cameroon has about 40 different avocado species. Zambia, we still have a bit more research to be done.
While the impact of global warming is affecting farmers in the country due to the cutting down of trees, planting of trees such as avocados comes with many benefits, not just to the consumers of the fruit, but to the environment as well. Such business activities benefit not just a single farmer but generation to come, hence the need to ensure that local species are preserved. Prudence Chota, reporting for Camnet TV News.
Government has distributed 500 beehives to 100 farmers drawn from 17 villages of Chief Nsandwe's area in the Sangazi district of Eastern Province under Zambia Integrated Land Forest. Speaking during the handover ceremony at Njanji Community Action Initiative in Mawandi Ward of Lusangazi District, Petalka District, Commissioner Martha Mlenga urged farmers to take keen interest of empowerment program aimed at alleviating poverty at their family level. The DC says beehives farming have potential to reduce rampant deforestation and charcoal burning that has even affected rain pattern. She says farmers need to take beehives farming seriously if they are to progress in their farming activities. Meanwhile, some beneficiaries have thanked Zambia Integrated Land Forest through government for empowering them with beehives. Njanji Community Action Initiative has more than 3,000 beehives.
As government today, we are giving out 500 beehives to 17 villages with 100 people benefiting to the beehives, 5 beehives to each person. My encouragement to these people that have received these beehives is that they should utilize them. The market is ready at the cooperative office. For the farmers, it is a plus because now the issue of charcoal burning will reduce because government has empowered each farmer with the 5 beehives costing 2,750. If they put these beehives to proper use, by next year they should see a fruit from it.
Siku ya lero tipereka mingoma iyi kuli mafamazi watu cholinga kuti tichepese kujua malasha chifuka mvula sikugwa bwino so chifuka cha ichi taganiza kuti mafamazi watu maloma kuti bazijua malasha chili bwino bazisunga konzimu kuti bazipezako yasopo na yakuchigayo
amikira boma yasu iyi kutipasako mingoma kuti tiwothandiziwa tikapanyika uchi ngati wangena tikafula kunangu tikagulisa ndrama tukoperekerako bana ku skulu tathandizwako kunjala pang'anda chiyakine ingankhale ni chitetezo cha chilengedwe osaononga mitengo.
Coming next after this commercial is international and news sports.
You know I can take her a bit.
Yes, my dear.
I was thinking of getting you a Bugatti on your birthday.
Really?
I'm quiet. My name is Yana.
Don't worry, man. That's why there is insurance.
Insurance?
You heard me.
Not just any kind of insurance, but Savenda General Insurance, a company that offers superior customer service, highly professional and dedicated staff. We are not just any insurance company, but an insurance company that actually pays our claims. We cover, among others, fire, marine, aviation, engineering, agriculture, motor vehicle, and miscellaneous insurance. So, live life to the full, knowing that Savenda General Insurance has got you covered. Savenda General Insurance. Insurance excellence.
Prime plots filled with beautiful views are now available for sale in Palabana. They will have tarred roads, electricity, water, golf course, 24-hour security, and more. They are on title and you can view them. With a standard 20% initial deposit, you will already be on your way to owning land Kumayard. We have simple payment plans. They are located 28 kilometers from Crossroads Mall and 16 kilometers from New Kasama's Boom Gate along Leopards Hill Road. For viewings, purchases, and inquiries, call the numbers on the screen.
Welcome back now, getting into our international item. Massive floods in Ghana have killed at least 5 people and displaced thousands more. Many areas are still underwater. In other news, flash floods triggered by heavy monsoon rains continue to wreak havoc across much of Sudan. Essential infrastructure have been damaged, increasing the risk of waterborne diseases such as cholera. The deadly floods have also destroyed tens of thousands of homes, boreholes and agricultural fields over the past months. Here's a roundup of international news.
Flash floods triggered by heavy monsoon rains are wreaking havoc across much of Sudan. Essential infrastructure have been damaged, increasing the risk of waterborne diseases such as cholera. We've been seriously affected. My rooms and my house were damaged. All the furniture was damaged and carried away by water. This room is now completely destroyed. The deadly floods have also destroyed boroughs and agricultural fields over the past months. In South Darfur, a community was left to count the cost. We couldn't stay in our homes and bear the floods. We had to find a safe area to move to for me and my kids, so we had to move here for now. And you can see yourself the situation in which we are living. The International Committee of the Red Cross says it plans to provide essential household items and cash to some 45,600 people by the end of October. This season is different from the past seasons. Our oldest people say that nothing like this has happened since the 80s. This year there is much more water. In southern Darfur, rain rates this fall are above the normal rates. The downpours, which began earlier than normal this year, have affected at least 258,000 people, according to the United Nations.
In Ethiopia's embattled Tigray region, the death rate of babies dying in their first month of life is 4 times the rate before the war, according to a recent study. The most common causes were prematurity, infections, or the inability to establish breathing at birth.
So we can say that the underfed mortality during wartime doubled compared to the pre-war era. In neonatal mortality means days of a child or a neonate in the first 28 days of life also quadrupled as compared to the pre-war era, from around 10, according to studies from Tigray in 2020, to around 36.
Almost 2 years have passed since the war started and Ethiopia's government isolated the Tigray region from the rest of the world. Both sides have been invited to African Union-mediated peace talks this weekend in South Africa.
Abandoning their homes and heading for dry land. The floodwaters rose quickly, forcing thousands of people to leave nearly everything behind.
Within 3 hours, the whole place was flooded, and it entered the rooms, 4 bedrooms. We've abandoned everything. So we had to look for a shelter and also get a place to stay.
The best thing that you can do is to move out and evacuate into a different place. And when the thing comes down, then we just come back for the rest of the stuff. But most of the property is damaged.
Unusually heavy rains caused rivers to burst their banks. Making things worse, 2 dams further upstream in neighboring Burkina Faso were also overwhelmed.
Normally, the rains come in June, July, and by this time it is subsiding. But because of the issues of climate change, the weather patterns somehow has changed.
Ghana's own dams are under pressure too. And if water isn't released periodically, it could lead to an even greater disaster.
If we do not spill, we rather put the people downstream in danger, because we are then compromising on the integrity of the dam. If we do not handle it well and then we experience a dam break, the consequences and the repercussions will be more dire, will be more terrible than we're experiencing now.
Some of these people are heading to camps. Others are staying with family. For now, they have little choice but to wait until the water subsides. Vinton Monaghan, Al Jazeera.
We now get into our sports item. Zambian boxer PHIRI has been suspended for 2 years from any boxing activities by the World Boxing Council for using a prohibited drug prior to her last fight with Zimbabwe's KWACHA Chiwedire. In a joint statement issued by the Zambia Professional Boxing and Wrestling Control Board and the National Olympic Committee of Zambia on the 26th of February 2022, tests conducted by the Africa Zone 6 Regional Anti-Doping Organization at Government Complex, Catherine's samples tested positive for the prohibited drug in sports. Catherine has admitted using furosemide drug, which is not a performance enhancer, and says she did not know it was prohibited. She has since apologized to all boxing fans as she did not mean to use the drug to enhance her performance in a fight which she lost.
On Saturday, February 26, 2022, boxing sensation Catherine PHIRI lost on points to Zimbabwean KWACHA Chiwodire for the vacant WBC interim female super bantamweight title at Government Complex in Lusaka. In accordance with WBC competition requirements, anti-doping tests were conducted at the venue of the bout. According to the joint press statement, urine samples were collected and transported to South African Doping Control Laboratory, a World Anti-Doping Agency WADA accredited laboratory for analysis.
We are subjected to analysis, and upon analysis, unfortunately, Catherine PHIRI's sample tested positive for a prohibited drug in sports. The drug is called furosemide. Furosemide is a prohibited substance classified under S5 of the WADA prohibited list of substances and methods 2022 as a diuretic and masking agent, and it is prohibited at all times in and out of competition. The prohibited list is incorporated by reference in Article 4.1 of the Anti-Doping Rules number 14. Furosemide is not a performance-enhancing drug, but it is a loop diuretic which is normally used in management of edema or body swelling, which is associated with the heart failure, liver or renal disease.
The boxer was charged with the commission of anti-doping rule violation under Article 2.1 and Article 2.2 of the AD rules on the basis that the furosemide, which is prohibited, was found to be present in the sample and was used by her.
10th May 2022, the boxer admitted the presence and use of the drug, thus committing an anti-doping rule violation. She was, in accordance with Article 7.4.1 of the anti-doping rules, provisionally suspended with effect from 10th May from participating in any competition or activity pending the final decision in her case.
The international hearing panel was appointed who ruled that the athlete be deemed ineligible to participate in professional boxing or any sporting competition for any nature for a period of 2 years.
It was ruled that the athlete be deemed ineligible to participate in professional boxing or any sporting competition of any nature for a period of 2 years, and that the period of ineligibility shall be deemed to have commenced on 10th May 2022 when the athlete voluntarily accepted the provisional suspension.
Sitting quietly with the promoter, Chris Malunga, Catherine instead spoke through Mr. Posti Mbewe. She has apologized to all boxing fans and the nation for the negative publicity that has come with the suspension.
In my boxing career, I have never taken any performance-enhancing drug, and I have been subjected to numerous drug tests during a professional career spanning over 10 years. During my preparation for my world title fight, I took a drug to help me lose weight quickly, not knowing that the drug was on the prohibited list. I did this without the knowledge of my coach and manager. I deeply regret my actions.
Catherine, who is now an officer with the Zambia Air Force, is not a quitter.
To all my fans, I will be back.
Our promoter has asked Zambians to support Catherine in this downtime of her boxing career.
My point. But the board has said, NOC has said, it's a non-performance drug. Maybe to increase your performance in the ring or anywhere else, it's not. So it's a lesson from all of us. We learn from what other...
Catherine has fought 22 times, in which she lost 5 bouts and won a record 17 times. Tito Kalama, Camnet News.
Well, that sports item brings us to the end of Camnet TV main news, but before we go, here are the headlines once again. 28-year-old mother of triplets agonizing on how to raise them. CSO-DEBT Alliance advises government to begin collecting mining taxes in KWACHA. UPND defends First Lady MUTINTA HICHILEMA. And in international news, monsoon rains wreaking havoc across Sudan, ICRC. And in sports, WBC slaps PHIRI with 2-year suspension. Before we go, our Camnet verse of the day is coming from the book of Isaiah 26, verse 3-4, and it reads, "You will keep in perfect peace those whose minds are steadfast because they trust in you. Trust in the Lord forever, for the Lord himself is the rock eternal." Thank you for watching. I am Precious Mzeya Sakadeshi. Pleasant viewing.